Hey guys, let's start with new chapter of Loyal Pin Volume 2, Chapter 49, The Cause. A week before the wedding ceremony. After following every moment of the royal young man for several days, Prick could quickly notice some of Lord Quacket's behavior with just a glance. Huh! Prick shook her shoulders slightly with a look of knowing the young man in her sight all the time. That's it. Lord Kua always sneaks out of the office in the late afternoon like this. Prick is talented. Prince Anantavad, who was sitting behind the wheel of Chowke, a good old car from the Bua Palace, happily said, giggling, Anil kept praising you and telling me how clever you are. I just got a seat with my own eyes today. Ah, Prince Anand has praised me to the point of exaggeration, sir. Brick smiled so wide that her cheeks were brimming. What I noticed, you must have noticed as well. Prince Anand shook his shoulder before adjusting his dark sunglasses and pressing his hat brim down to obscure his face more. Honestly, sometimes I saw it, sometimes I didn't. When Prick told us, I got the clue to think along. It's a pity. Princess Anil should come as well. She's very brilliant. Oh, that one shouldn't come. She is outstanding. Whenever she got out of the car, people looked with wide eyes. That's why Anil asked me and you to come and help. The man said with a smile. Anil told me you can camouflage yourself to blend in with the land, trees, and house pillars. She praised me too much, sir. Prick laughed until her shoulders shook. Not to mention your keen ears and eyes. You also have excellent hearing. No matter how far away, if you want to hear, you will be able to hear. Is this me or sorcerer? Prick began to roll her eyes as Prince Anantavat continued to praise her. That's it. Prince Anand smiled kindly. Whatever it is, I just want this story resolved. This story that Prince Anantavad stated was nothing more than strange behavior that he had heard for a while since the time Lord Quacket had not yet engaged to Lady Pilantetta. Strangely enough, Prince Anand had never known this kind of information before. It might be because both the Vice Prince and Khunkua are so close to each other that it is easy to overlook certain matters between each other. Nevertheless, Lord Quacket's strange behavior made the Grand Prince think of one matter, which is an affair. Sources of information from the ministry where Prince Anantavat was working, who are experts in monitoring the affairs of the people, even used the phrase that Lord Quacket had risky behavior of hiding a young woman in a deep relationship. Nevertheless, the Grand Prince's source of information was only a hunch. There is no other clarity that can be relied upon. Finally, when the auspicious date for the wedding of Lord Quacket and Lady Pilantetta approached, Prince Anantavath had to investigate the matter himself, with Prick's help and cooperation, whom Princess Anil sent as her representative, because Prince Anand didn't want his younger sister, who was currently weak in body and mind, to be involved. The prince, therefore, had to disguise himself by wearing a hat and sunglasses to hide his face, driving an old car that wasn't familiar to Lord Quacket, bringing Prick, who wore a curly wig, bold makeup, and added a small mole to the mouth above the lip that has been following Khunkua for almost a week now. At first, both Prince Anand and Prick were suspicious of the young civil servant who served as Lord Quacket's front desk clerk because the young woman had a slender figure. Even though she was not so attractive, she still had a cute, neat demeanor that was easygoing and looked obedient, suitable for luring and enchanting with sweet words. Nevertheless, after following up on the third day, both the Grand Prince and Prick discovered that the young woman already had a husband, and her muscular husband always came to pick her up and deliver her every morning and evening without fail. As such, the defendant must have the benefit. The next suspect, female, is a seller who is the only daughter of the owner of the rice and curry restaurant next to the ministry named Oijai, who is not just a sweet name, but also her face was beautiful, sweet, and bright, suitable for her age. Ojai was suspected as soon as Prick noticed that every time Lord Quacket came to eat at this restaurant, he always sent sweet eyes to this sweet faced seller. Khunkua seems to go around sending flirtatious glances to women around him. The Grand Prince made this remark one afternoon when he secretly observed the behavior of Lord Kua, who was eating lunch in a rice and curry restaurant. A flirtatious man is like this, right? Prick lifted a smile from the corner of her lips. They have the pleasure of flirting. Maybe what you have mentioned is true. Prince Anantavut looked into Lord Quacket's eyes, which radiated some satisfaction. He worried that the look in his eyes when staring at Chongfa wouldn't be much different from the look in Lord Kua's eyes. When he saw Pricks being so observant, he couldn't help but wonder that she should also be able to see some of the things Prince Anand has been trying to conceal. Until Khunkua eats his entire plate, he just keeps nibbling gradually. All I know is that it's been a long time over lunch break. Prince Anantavut spoke in a strictly tone. Don't forget that. You yourself haven't worked for many days also. Hmm. Prince Anand's voice was shallow. Prick purged her eyes and pretended to slap her mouth when she realized she had slipped her tongue to tease Prince Anantavut as if he were a playmate. Not only was the Grand Prince not angry, but he laughed and shook his shoulder in a good mood. But here I'm on leave from work to do a mission for Anil. It doesn't interfere with working time like Lord Kua. Aren't you going to comply with me? I deserve to die, sir. Please don't die. Prince Anand giggled and spoke. Originally, this car was scary, and if there is an unforgiving spirit possessed, it will be even more scary. Brilliant. Prick's eyes rolled her eyes. Nevertheless, her lips clenched her teeth, flattering the Grand Prince. Kunko has returned to the ministry. The Grand Prince changed the topic of conversation so quickly that Prick could barely adjust her expression. What should we do today? I have an important matter to find out, sir. About? Prince Anand raised his brow curiously. I have wanted to know for a long time whether the curry of this restaurant is delicious, Prick said before swallowing a big gulp of saliva. I saw it selling like hotcakes. Hmm. Prince Anand was even more surprised, but Prick didn't pay any attention to him when she hurriedly opened the car door and walked quickly into the restaurant. Prince Anand was stunned for a moment before he hurriedly followed Prick, who was standing busy opening the lids of almost every food pot. This looks delicious. That looks delicious, Prick mumbled. I would like some stew eggs and chicken curry with bamboo shoots, ma'am. P.I., what would you have? Prick turned to ask the Grand Prince, winking her eyes at him, signaling Prince Anand to take on his role and go along. I would like the same. One more dish, please. The Grand Prince, who had never had a street food for lunch like this, could only survive by accepting Prick tactfully. Please take a seat, brother, sister. After getting the rice, I'll bring them to the table. Oijai extended her hand and amicably invited the two detectives. Prick smiled widely before leading the Grand Prince to sit at the table at the end. Soon, Oijai brought the food that the couple had ordered to the table. The young women smiled sweetly at Pi, who looked awkward eating from a galvanized dish. Meanwhile, Prick hurriedly restrained the sweet faced seller by opening a conversation that the Grand Prince had not expected. Seller? Prick smiled from her eye to ear. Just now, I saw a man wearing a government uniform. His face is as beautiful as a Like actor. Do you know him? Oijai raised her eyebrows suspiciously, and for only a moment, she could answer Prick's question quickly. You might be talking about Lord Kua? Ojai smiled sweetly. Isn't he a white man with sharp eyes? Yes, that person. He's also a royal man. Yes, he's an officer of the ministry. They say he was in a big position. He had a beautiful face and good manners, but he's not a like actor. Ojai takes along with Prick's conversation. Oh, such a good look. Lord Quacket must be married, huh? Prick pretended to be sad, as if she felt regret for Khunkua. But he said he was single. Sometimes he even invited me to see movies, but I didn't dare to think he was flirting with me. Probably just teasing like good looking men do. So, did you go see a movie with him or not? He might like you. Oh, I don't go, sister, cause sometimes I saw him taking women in the car and passing by my restaurant. I'm afraid of being accused of stealing another people's loved ones. When he came and spoke sweetly, I just smiled in acceptance. Eh, is this girl a government official colleague? No, sister. I saw that she was wearing a university student uniform. I have seen it many times. Oh, it's so strange that while Prick was asking Ojai, the seller, Prick had eaten all the rice topped with stewed eggs and chicken red curry with bamboo shoots, whereas the Grand Prince has just had success using a galvanized spoon to cut out tiny stewed eggs that have been rolling around for a while now. At 3 p.m., he will drive out onto that road, sister. Oija invites Prick to talk, hoping to continue selling food when you see a female customer devouring it. Would you like to get another plate of rice? Prick hesitated slightly before nodding in reluctance. Then give me another plate of sour curry and omelette. P.I. Please don't forget to pay for me. That's it, Grand Prince. Lord Kua's car. Prick pointed her finger as if ordering the Grand Prince to follow Lord Kua's luxurious cream sedan car right now, to which the Grand Prince quickly complied as if he had received instructions from a great queen. Follow him, sir. That's it, sir. Even though both Prick and the Grand Prince have been following Lord Kua for several days now, today is the first day that Lord Kua drives off the same path. Even before that, if he were not heading towards the Saftarit Palace, it would be his own palace. The road led the old car into a direction that was utterly unfamiliar to them. The moment the man turned into a small alley, the number of cars decreased noticeably. The prince decided to park his car and wait at a corner of the path instead of driving in to become suspicious. We might have to wait like this until Lord Kua comes out. Sir, Prick accepted the order with determination. In the meantime, I would like to go check first to see which house Lord Kua's car stopped at. Are you going alone? Yes, sir. Prince Anand, you can take a nap. The rest I'll keep an eye on him. Then I'll leave it with you. Prince Anand adjusted the seat so that it almost fully reclined before raising his hand to hug his chest and falling asleep so quickly that Prick secretly glanced at him, unable to help but feel annoyed. Born to be slave, you must be patient. Prick muttered, but the Grand Prince, who was asleep, couldn't hear her. An almost hour passed before Lord Quacket's cream sedan car drove out of that small alley. Unconsciously, Prick reached out and poked the sleeping Grand Prince in excitement. Lord Kua has come out! Grand Prince, Lord Kua has come out! Prick smiled contentedly, not turning around to see that the Grand Prince was exhausted. I will go down by myself, sir. Please just wait here in the car. Wait? Again? The Grand Prince answered with a dazed voice. You asked me to wait. I'll probably have to wait. Yes, Your Highness, Prick answered Prince Anand and quickly jumped out of the car, walking along the path that had previously followed Lord Quacket's car. She soon stopped in front of a white two-story house, considerably more significant than the other houses in the area. Without hesitation, Prick decided to ring the bell at the front of the house. Soon, a pretty young woman walked out and opened the door hurriedly. Nevertheless, when she saw that the person who rang the bell was a stranger, the young woman, she stopped in fear. She almost walked back into the house if Prick hadn't shouted at her first. I came to see you. Yes, you. I have something important to tell you about Lord Kuakit. Are you Lord Kua's person? The face of the young woman in front of her now looked extremely confused. She was very hesitant about whether or not to open the door to let a stranger like Prick come into the house. Not really, But the matter I am about to tell you must be something important that affects you. Prick said, staring intently at the bloated belly of the woman in front of her. Over the past several days, she has followed the behavior of Lord Kua. Prick didn't expect the young man to be a good, pure person. However, she didn't expect that the girl in front of her, who seemed like Khunkua had a deep relation with her, would be in such a big belly state. What can I do for you? Finally, the young woman decided to open the gate to allow Prick to enter the house. She surrendered to the pique of the curiosity upon hearing the strange young woman speak meaningfully of Lord Quacket. You are pregnant? Prick opened the conversation with strange words. Are you pregnant with Lord Kua? A young, good looking woman, whose name was unknown to Prick, widened her eyes in surprise. But Prick didn't allow her conversation to be interrupted by emptiness. She quickly asked the next question. Do you know that? He already has a fiancée. What did you say? The young woman's brow frowned. I'm Kunkua's wife. Then how can Kunkua have a fiancé? The young woman's breathing was so rapid that Prick began to worry about what might have happened to her before she knew the truth. How can he have one? I don't know, but he has. It is a suitable female. She is a lady, like great match for him, Prick said, inching her face closer to the young, good looking woman. Are you registered married wife? At this point, the face of the young woman in front of Prick screwed. It was as if Prick had pressed onto the point where she felt most vulnerable. We haven't registered, but Khunkwa said we will soon. The young woman raised her head arrogantly. Nevertheless, Prick lifted a smile from the corner of lips. So, it is a secret register or inviting many guests? Don't say that. I'm interfering. I can only tell you that next Thursday, Lord Kuakat is scheduled to have a registered marriage with Lady Palantit of Savtarat Palace. I don't know whether you already know or not. If you had known beforehand, you would probably have accepted being a mistress. Nevertheless, if you didn't know beforehand, Prick paused the conversation, assuming she was gaining an advantage. This time, you must realize that Lord Kuakat has already chosen the other person. Even though I'm pregnant with his child. The young girl unconsciously raised her hand and rubbed her enormous stomach. Are you lying to me? Rick smiled and shook her head, slowly like a wise person. She pulled a photo from her pocket and handed it to the woman in front of her with the gesture of a person with vantage. A young woman reaches out and receives a photograph of Lord Goa wearing an engagement ring to Lady Pilantita with a delighted expression on his face. Seeing that, she was so weak that the picture fell in front of Prick's eyes. Are they married? A young woman asked Prick in a trembling voice. No, they're just engaged. Prick stared at the younger woman's large eyes with a severe gesture. He will get married on next Thursday. He has already invited the registrar to take up his duties at the Bua Palace. But, but I'm pregnant with his child, and he said he would marry me within the next month. Not only that, but he also bought me a house. He only said that he had to take care of his mother and can come visit me once in a while. The young woman's tears began to flow down her cheeks. So, actually, he has a to be wife? Yes, Rick chose to answer the young lady, the owner of the house, with a steadfast voice. Maybe because that way is more prestigious than this way. The lady and the Lord Goa look like a good match. But are you going to let things go like this? You have a child, while the other side has not. Would you allow your child to be without a father? Prick emphasized almost every word said. Think carefully. You still have a chance to turn wrong into right. Just consider it. That's it for this chapter, guys. And I'll see you next with chapter 50. Thanks a lot for all the support and love from you guys. Please do share, subscribe, and like my channel. And keep supporting.